From the Newstalk ZB newsroom, this is Newsfix.
In this update, positive words from the Prime Minister on the role AUKUS could play in stability, despite clear differences with China. Chris Luxon's met with leaders from across the Asia-Pacific region for the APEC summit in Peru. He says China's President Xi Jinping has raised concerns about tension it links to the US and AUKUS. But Luxon says China's reaction to New Zealand possibly joining the nuclear-powered submarine pact is not a consideration.
Our balance is that we think AUKUS is probably a good thing in the region. Whether New Zealand gets involved with it or not is a conversation that we continue to explore and look into.
The Climate Minister is touching down in Azerbaijan for the annual United Nations Climate Change Summit. World leaders will be talking finance with trillions of dollars needed for countries to cut emissions. Political reporter Demelza Jackson has more.
Minister Simon Watts says an agreement will help developing countries build resilience for climate hazards and transition to a sustainable economy. He says all countries with advanced economies will need to contribute. Watts will also co-chair the Pacific Ministers' Round Table at COP29 and says he wants to secure a decision that Australia will hold COP31 in 2026.
Police are urging public to stay away from the Napier Museum as they work to identify a package that was left behind. Authorities were alerted at 9:30am. Police are working to find the person who left the package, and cordons are in place around the museum. Estimates the funding of a new heart medication will avoid more than 1,000 hospitalisations over 5 years. Pharmax confirmed it will foot the bill for empagliflozin for those suffering with that type of long-term heart failure. Pharmaceuticals Director Geraldine McGibbon says nearly 20,000 people are eligible,
rising to over 37,000 people per year after 5 years.
That's news. In sport, a stirring French fightback has consigned the All Blacks to a 1-point loss in Paris. The ABs led 17-10 at half-time, but coach Scott Robertson is lamenting a below-par second stanza in the 30-29 defeat.
Probably didn't get off our back bench as well as we could, and they kicked all their goals and got the smell as we're talking about, got their tails up.
The Springboks have won 10 of their 12 matches in 2024, following a 29-20 win over England at Twickenham. Breakers coach Petri Kaponen is refusing to comment on the future of centre Freddie Gillespie. Reports are suggesting the American is being released to play in Italy, set to be replaced by former NBA giant Taco Fall. But Kaponen won't say whether last night's 8-point win over Cairns was Gillespie's last hurrah. That's sport. I'm Sandy Hodge.
For more news, listen to Newstalk ZB live on iHeartRadio.